So, hello there everyone and welcome, it is Niran here, and today we're back talking about things we want to see in FIFA 20. I've talked about career mode features, gameplay features, celebrations, leagues, teams, all of that good stuff, but today we're looking at stadiums that we all want to see in FIFA 20. Generally speaking, I think this is actually an area that EA can do a lot better with, but I do understand that adding an entire stadium to a video game can't exactly be the easiest thing to do, but there's definitely some really good ones that are missing. So EA, if anyone from that development team is watching, I've got some solid ideas for you boys and girls. Anyway, if you go on to enjoy the video, slap a like on it and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It's the big red button under the video, but without any further ado, let's get into proceedings. And there's only one place to start, realistically, isn't there? Camp Nou, the new camp, whichever way you say it. Camp Nou, it needs to be, I'm sorry. It is ridiculous that one of the big, probably if not the biggest team in the world stadium is not on FIFA. That is genuinely disgraceful. For those that don't know, I assume there's not many of you that don't know, but the new Camp Nou, whatever, is exclusively on PES. It's only on Pro Evolution Soccer. It's not on FIFA. It hasn't been for the last 2 games, I want to say. I think it was removed ahead of FIFA 18. Hasn't been on FIFA 19 either. It's a licensing issue rather than, you know, just an oversight. But just imagine, like, Anfield or Old Trafford not being on FIFA. It would actually be ridiculous. I feel so sorry for all the Barca fans who play FIFA. And not having the stadium on the game must be such a kick in the balls. The immersion levels are just completely gone. It's one of the biggest stadiums in the whole of Europe. In fact, I think it is the biggest football stadium in the whole of Europe. 99,000 seater plus, and it's only on PES. I don't mean that in a derogatory way to PES. It's just frustrating that they can't sit down and agree similar rights to have both on each game. It's frustrating, really. Anyway, moving on from that, we've got the Luzhniki Stadium in Russia. This, I think, is the Russian national stadium. I don't think it belongs to any club team. But again, one of the biggest stadiums in the whole of Europe, 81,000 capacity. It was on the World Cup DLC for FIFA 18, so surely it shouldn't be that difficult to actually put on to the real version of the game. I know it's a big stadium and stuff, but that's one of the overriding reasons as to why it's in this video. It'd be so easy to put in. You already made it. You made the stadium for the World Cup DLC on FIFA 18. So surely you could just slap it into FIFA 19. It's not going to be that difficult, surely. Number 3, we've got the Stade de France. No prizes for guessing where that stadium is situated. Again, another national stadium like the Luzhniki Stadium. It doesn't actually hold host to any domestic club. It holds host to the national team, I think. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it does. It's 80,000 capacity again, and it's actually bigger than all of the other French stadiums that are on the game. The Paris Saint-Germain stadium obviously kind of has to be on FIFA. It belongs to Paris Saint-Germain, but that's actually got a lower capacity than Sunderland's Stadium of Light. Just to put it into perspective. Relatively small French stadiums. Again, I know it goes along with Paris Saint-Germain, but to then not actually have the Stade de France, I feel is a bit of a weird decision, but it's one again that I would like to see. Estadio de Luz, or Luth, I don't actually know the Benfican pronunciation, the Portuguese pronunciation for Zeds, but I hope I've got it slightly right. It's Benfica Stadium, basically. There's several reasons as to why this is here. First of all, there's no Portuguese stadiums on FIFA. There's plenty they could add as well, not just this one. Porto Stadium, Braga Stadium is a really, really unique one. That's one I would love to see on FIFA. But Estadio de Luz, I think, is the biggest of them all. Very, very high capacity. It looks sick for a start as well. You know, I know it would be the first Portuguese stadium. That's the first reason. The second reason, it is just a peng stadium from the outside and from the inside. And it's also got a big atmosphere as well. It's a big club, Benfica, a club with a lot of tradition, with a lot of history. I think it's just about time we saw some Portuguese stadiums on the game generally, and I think that would definitely be the right place to start. Numbers 5 and 6 are pretty similar, but I'll introduce them individually. First of all, we've got Celtic Park. Again, not a huge amount of prizes for guessing who that represents. It's obviously Celtic's home stadium. 60k in capacity, and it has honestly got one of the most unreal atmospheres in footballing history. Obviously, they sing "You'll Never Walk Alone," but when does an old firm? Celtic v Rangers. I know, obviously, the Scottish Premier League is not the highest league in terms of, like, player quality. I think we all know that. But in terms of atmosphere and rivalry between Celtic and Rangers, there's not a huge amount of derbies that produce more hatred and or as much of a good game same an atmosphere as the Old Firm does. So therefore, I'd quite like to see Celtic Park on the game, really. If we're going to have the Old Firm and actually have any sort of atmosphere whatsoever, it'd be quite nice to have Celtic's home stadium. And going along with that, number 6, it'd be nice to have the Ibrox as well, which for those that don't know is Rangers' home stadium. For a similar reason, I want to see actual things kicking off in the stands during the Old Firm. You know, I know this is something I've talked about before, is the atmosphere in stadiums is really lacking on FIFA. It's one thing that I have a massive issue with in terms of aesthetic gameplay. Obviously, they've got a lot of other things to focus on. I think the actual playing gameplay needs to be worked upon. You know, there's features in certain game modes, but if they've got any spare time, for the love of God, atmosphere needs to be improved upon in FIFA games. It's so poor in comparison to real life. You know, there's nothing, there's no character. I want to see in a derby game like the Old Firm. For a start, I want to see the stadiums, but I want to see that atmosphere being shown off. It doesn't have to be flares, but just some more noise, some drums, anything, just to make it seem like it's actually a game that has any emotion at all. Number 7, again, another stadium with a ridiculous atmosphere. We've got De Keep, I think is how it's pronounced. I'm really sorry if it's not that. But Feyenoord Stadium, 51,000-seater over in the Netherlands. Again, one of the best atmospheres in the entirety of Europe. And it's one of the only Dutch big stadiums that's not on the game. I think they've got, well, they've definitely got Ajax's stadium. They might not actually have PSV's stadium, in which case get that on there as well, because that looks peng. But Feyenoord Stadium, I think, has a better atmosphere than the Philips Stadium, I think it's called. I can't quite remember, but De Keep, yeah, definitely one that I would love to see on FIFA. And again, another, you know, similar one to Portugal. I feel like when it comes to Europe, there's literally only a focus on England, Spain, Italy, Germany, and France, and that's it. And even, you know, the choice for Italy and France is pretty abysmal. So anyway, for number 8, we break out of Europe. I'm sure a lot of you guys were expecting or hoping for that at some point. This isn't going to be exclusive to Europe. We move over to Africa for the FNB Stadium, which plays host to South Africa's national team and Kaizer Chiefs, who are actually on the game in the rest of the world section. So there's definitely a reason to put this stadium on the game. On top of that, it's 94,000 in capacity. It's one of the biggest football stadiums in the world, and it would be the first African stadium on the whole of FIFA. There's no stadiums from Africa in FIFA, and to me, that is an absolute shambles. And I know it's not just because I'm part African. There should be representation of every footballing continent, and Africa is severely underrepresented in terms of teams, players, national teams, and certainly in terms of stadiums, because there isn't one at all. This one definitely needs to be added. It's absolutely humongous. It would be the first African stadium, and it would be great for atmosphere as well. Number 9, we've got another stadium that will be the first of its kind, this time for a specific country. We've got the Turk Telecom Arena, which I believe is Galatasaray Stadium, 52,000 in capacity. One of the best atmospheres, again, of any stadium in the world. You've got flares left, right, and center. You've got fans kicking off, ultras all over the gaff. I think it's one that a lot of fans and journalists have said just has a ridiculous, ridiculous atmosphere whenever they've gone over there. Places like Turkey and Serbia and the Ukraine are very well known for that, and sometimes they can be overly atmospheric, but in this instance, definitely think that the Turk Telecom Stadium, or Turk Telecom Arena, sorry, should be on FIFA 20. The penultimate one is Providence Park. EA have done a very good job in adding quite a few MLS stadiums in recent times. The Atlanta Stadium, the Mercedes-Benz Arena, or whatever it's called, which looks incredible, was added for the last FIFA. There's also 3 or 4 more, I think, from the MLS along the line somewhere. Providence Park is probably the next one on their list, really, when it comes to MLS clubs. It belongs to the Portland Timbers, who were in the MLS Cup final. They actually got beaten by Atlanta United, thanks to my G, Joseph Martinez, scoring in that game. But regardless, if there's going to be another MLS stadium, I think this has got to be the one that has it. It's, again, quite a unique stadium in terms of its looks. It's got quite a good atmosphere. Pretty sure there's a Donny who cuts some wood or something every time they score a goal. I don't know, but that would be sick to see. And then finally, we've got the Stadio San Paolo, which belongs to Napoli. Absolutely iconic stadium over in Italy. I believe there's 3 stadiums on the game from Italy. The Allianz Stadium, which belongs to Juventus. We've got the San Siro for Milan and Inter, And then we've got the Stadio Olimpico, which is obviously Roma and Lazio, I do believe. Stadio San Paolo is definitely the next best option, really, when it comes to Italian stadiums. 60,000 seater once again. Very big stadium, probably the biggest stadium that's in Italy that isn't on the game. I don't think there's enough Italian stadiums on the game. I mentioned it earlier. I think the representation for Italy and France is pretty low. And due to the mad rush to get Cristiano Ronaldo on the cover for FIFA 19, we now have the rights for the actual Serie A. We've now got the Italian football rights. So along with all the Spanish stadiums and all the English stadiums, there's no reason why we can't see all of the Italian stadiums, or certainly more Italian homes on the game. But that is going to wrap up today's video, looking at 11 stadiums we all want to see on FIFA 20. Let me know down in the comment section which other ones I could have included in this video and which other stadiums you would like to see on the new game. If you enjoyed that one though, slap a like on it and subscribe if you are new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media these days too. My Twitter and Insta are at @theofficialfng, and links are down below. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.